President Park Geun-hye has wrapped up her 8-day tour of North America that took her to Washington to attend the Nuclear Security Summit 2016 and then Mexico, where she sat down for a one-on-one with her Mexican counterpart. The South Korean president had two key priorities for each stop of her trip: achievements and perhaps disappointments. For an overall assessment, we have Dr. Bong Young-shik, Senior Research Fellow at Asan Institute for Policy Studies, live in the studio with me. Dr. Bong, great to see you again.
Thanks, P.
Now, President Park's overseas tour could be summarized in two themes, if you will: summit diplomacy and FTA diplomacy. Now, in Washington, it was quite impressive that leaders of South Korea, U.S., and Japan got together to present a united front in dealing with North Korea.
Right. I think President Park was very successful in sending very strong and clear message to Pyongyang that all the related parties remain united in terms of putting pressure on North Korea for its abandonment of nuclear weapons program. And there's a temptation rising in China and North Korea that signing a peace treaty should be discussed in parallel with a talk on denuclearization of North Korea. But with these trilateral meetings with Japan and the United States, Seoul sent a very strong message to North Korea and China that it is not the time to talk about dialogue.
Well, some experts say that President Park's diplomacy should be touted for getting the other two leaders by her side, but fell short of having the most, I guess, difficult one to get by her side, China.
Right, but the fact that she had a very good conversation with President Xi Jinping, that's an achievement, and exchanging very frank perspective on the control issue, which is nuclear North Korea, is by and of itself a huge success. And in the meeting between U.S. President Obama and Chinese President Xi Jinping, very candid discussion actually took place that as a result, the Chinese side promised that China remained committed to full implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 2270. So nothing has been changed, deviated from the original commitment to put pressure on North Korea.
And China just hours ago announced a restriction ban, trade ban on North Korea. So it is implementing. Now let's move on to Mexico. The second leg of the president's tour, topping her agenda there was tightening economic ties with that country. Quite evident by the size of the delegation that she traveled with. Now, the resumption of FTA negotiations talks, what is the significance there?
Some people may wonder why Mexico, right? But it has to be seen in extended view, tied to President Park's trip to 4 Latin American countries last year, including Peru, Chile, Brazil, and Colombia. So trying to expand the scope of economic cooperation between South Korea and Mexico is just not a bilateral initiative, but it is a first step for South Korean economy to enter into very vast market in Latin American and Central American market. So it is a first step to go into the very big regional market.
Right, so Mexico could serve as a gateway into Latin America for Korean businesses. Now, Dr. Bong, your overall assessment of President Park's 8-day tour this time around, if you were to give a grade, which areas would you give an excellent grade? Which areas not too impressive?
Well, my students watching this program will be cringing to hear the word great, but I would say that it's very good, considering that it's only an 8-day tour, but she has already achieved top priorities you mentioned at the beginning of this interview, that she made it very clear about South Korea's commitment to the nuclear security in the fourth and last Nuclear Security Summit meeting. And second, she succeeded in conjuring up the united voice with Japan and United States about continuously putting pressure on North Korea via economic sanctions. And she expanded the realm of business cooperation between Mexico and South Korea. So all in all, she succeeded in achieving top 3 priorities. So it's a very good summit diplomacy by Park Geun-hye.
So do you have a grade?
Very good.
Very good. All right. Bong Young-shik, a research fellow at the Asan Institute. Thank you indeed for speaking with us, and we hope to see you more often here.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you.